Hello, I'm a nerd, and of course I play Ejection. Today I wanted to build my own fighter jet. I have done that multiple times, also using BD Armory. That's a mod that adds weapons, radars, missiles. It's really cool. But this time I wanted to do something different. I wanted to do it in full stock, so no mods, no recoloring. Okay, yes, recoloring I did, but you can also play without recoloring. No tweak scale, so you cannot just make everything smaller so it looks better. And I also wanted to add some stock weapons. I used the Starshot 8 for this, and I used the Kerbal 1000 to overclock the launch speed. And I also wanted to build a fully working ejection system, so the cockpit would disconnect from the rest and then detach, and then it would like kind of launch away from the aircraft and then deploy some parachutes. I also added some lightning systems, as you can see now, some red and green lights that I still don't know which one goes on which side, so I just hover over the navigation lights and see it. Yes, I also started like a subfolder of my game where I put those fighter jets, and I'm also planning on building a second version of it, a bigger, better, faster version that can do better maneuvers, is quicker, and yeah, it's just better, like comparing the F-4 to the F-35. And I also want to build an VTOL jet once, so that will be upcoming too in a video. Anyways, here you can see me place those wings. I decided to not just go with the normal delta wing. I added some wing connectors. I don't know, I think they're called wing connectors, and use them to create some like round shape. No, it's not round, but it looks a little bit like not normal. Here you can see me put the Starshot 8 into position. I later realized that this is way too much and would just create a bunch of knockback, and it would completely launch my craft into orbit. I'm also planning on doing like some warp drive with them. That will be also upcoming maybe, I don't know. Anyways, on top of the airplane in front, before the cockpit, in front of the cockpit, you can see the Kerbal 1000 that I placed. If me in the past would rotate the camera. We also tried to add some aerodynamics to it so it wouldn't create that much drag, but it didn't work for some reason. Yes. Did you see that I have a new intro, by the way? I made this using like two shapes and adding the text at the exactly right moment so it blends out with the white. Next, I wanted to add some tiny rocket engines to propel my cockpit out of the way when it ejects. I used the Kerbal 1000 to boost their thrust limiter to the absolute maximum, and it didn't quite work, so I instead decided to just use another Starshot 8 below it that would just launch it into oblivion. Here I added some more fuel tanks and then squished the weapon inside of it so it looked a little better. I wanted to make it look kind of sleek. Oh, here I forgot to cut out black space, that's not good. Anyways, I realized that this wouldn't work with the Twitch engines. I tried a little bit around, as you can see here, but it just didn't work. So I instead changed to the other Starshot method. This is the first time I tested the weapons. Actually, no, not the first time. The first time it worked. It's not quite done yet, I want to add some coloring. The ejection seat is also not working, as you can see it has no parachutes and the rockets don't fire. So the old pilot just jumps out and uses its parachute. Here I add some more liquid fuel for the engines, because I realized I didn't add any. Because they need it. I cannot just put rockets on it and no fuel. That just doesn't work. But it's still broken. Here I set up the action groups for my engine, so I can start it using one. Here you can see me play around with the with the thrust limiter and the throttle. I changed it to independent throttle so I could control it using the Cal 1000. And I tested it multiple times and I realized that, as I said, like 1 billion times, it just doesn't work. Here you can see me actually place the Starshot 8 inside. There, below the Cal 1000, you can see it. That's the one that will get us away from the fighter jet, if it works, which I'm not sure of. I also used 2 stage separators in front of the cockpit and behind the cockpit, so it would actually separate a little, and the nose also goes away. The wings are all attached to the liquid fuel fuselage right behind the cockpit. Because I wanted to make this craft realistic, I also added a ladder, and then I started coloring it in some kind of green and brownish style camouflage, because I really like that camouflage type. White camouflage is also really cool, so white, black, blue, but here I opted for just brown and green. I just used the same pattern on every part, so I don't have to spend like 20 hours just coloring this thing, because at this point I had already used 1 hour of my time, like that I had before I had to do other stuff. I'm also building a flight simulator at home, so I was just doing the quickest method possible. I don't know why I left those Oscar fuel tanks there. Maybe I just forgot. Here I wanted to rename the craft, and I renamed it to Lance Dynamics F-1 Spear. I saved it into his own subfolder, and I tested a little bit. And after a lot of tests, I was able to get some screenshots and also a nice cinematic. I hope you enjoy. As you saw in that last clip, the ejection seat actually worked and I survived, but that was after a lot of tests. Now, I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, please leave a like or maybe even subscribe. Bye!